Welcome to Motivation Basics, day 3 of 5. So the first day we defined motivation as emotions fueling actions that move you towards your goals. Yesterday we talked about emotional intelligence and how that directly related with your success, and then asked these couple questions. When studying or working on a project, how can I remind myself that my emotions are extremely powerful? And when studying or working on a project, how can I keep my goal in mind? So when we're talking about emotions or energy in motion, this energy drives people to success or drives them to failure. Regardless of the goal, whether it be in health, wealth, or relationships, if you could picture what attaining that goal looks like in your mind, and that picture is full of emotions or energy that moves you into motion, you can use that emotion to fuel you forward. You can use that emotion to move you towards your goals. So let's say one of your goals is to ace the exam. Some students will feel discouraged. They'll feel depressed, they'll feel down, they'll feel out, because when they take a look and their goal is to ace the exam, they haven't been doing well in the class and they don't do that well in the subject. So the emotions they feel behind that, they're extremely powerful, and that moves them down into failure versus being proactive and doing something more about it. Other students whose goal is to ace the exam have different emotions behind it. They feel enthusiastic, they feel proud, they feel energized, because when they take a look at this subject, this is a subject they've always done well in. They always get A's in the subject. So when they have their goal in mind, when they have a picture of what acing the test looks like, that's an easy A for them. So their emotions are far different. And these emotions move them into success. While other students, their goal in mind is to ace the exam also, but they have a different set of emotions altogether. They take a look at what they've done in the class so far, and they're not doing so well. So the emotions they feel are determined. They feel a sense of conviction that they're going to get an A on this test because they're going to do whatever it takes. And so these students have a success mindset. And regardless of what's going on, they know that they've done the best they could, and so they feel good about that. So that leads me to sharing with you one of the most valuable motivation questions, and that's this: how strong do my goals motivate me to act towards them? Again, all three students, their goal was to ace the exam. The first student did not feel motivated. The second and third did. So let's go over that. Here I charted it out for you. We've got the first student here who takes a look at their goal of acing the exam, and they don't feel motivated. Actually, they feel less than motivated. They take actions against studying, against doing what they have to do okay on the exam. Maybe they spend their time on Facebook or MySpace or YouTube because they'd rather avoid the thing altogether. The second student felt motivated because maybe they already knew the subject really well. Maybe they had a system for study, so they knew, okay, that's fine, I'm going to ace this thing anyway. The third student I placed a little higher as far as motivation because they were internally motivated. They were self-determined to do better on the exam because they knew they could. Maybe they didn't have the same system and clarity and confidence as the second student, but they were willing to put in the work and effort to do their personal best. Today's questions: when studying or working on a project, ask yourself this: how strong do my goals motivate me to act towards them? If you don't feel strong enough to do some actions towards meeting your goals, say like the first student who felt discouraged, then ask yourself, what goals would motivate me to act now? Maybe for that student, if they changed their goal to, well, let me at least get a C on this test so I could pass this class, maybe they would feel less discouraged. Remember, motivation has a lot to do with recognizing your emotions. So take a look at bigger goals you have and ask yourself this question: how strong do my goals motivate me to act towards them? And make sure your goals are actually your goals versus someone telling you what to do. Of course, this basic training is just a tip of the iceberg. If you're open and willing to try more powerful tips and strategies to becoming a highly effective, highly efficient, ninja-like student, see you inside FastStudySkills.com.